I don't know if you've heard about the death of the notorious globalist David Rockefeller. Now, I want to read you one of his quotes, one of his most infamous quotes. He stated, "Some believe the Rockefellers are a part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States." And he goes on to say that they're proud of it, that they're working against the United States and proud of it. Well, I don't like to wish death upon anybody, Jordan, but is it a good omen that this guy, David Rockefeller, is no longer here on Earth?
I would say it's a bad omen that he didn't take everybody else with him, Yeah, I mean, my God, it's about time. I mean, he's over 100 years old and has financed all the bloodshed and violence and communist revolutions and murder of political leaders and all kinds of filthy, degenerate, murderous political stuff going on the earth today, and has contributed a large part to the chaos and the treason, high crimes and treason committed in America against this republic. His whole entire family are nothing but a bunch of criminals, with the highest stature of criminal that we can produce in America. So when I see him go, I think, my God, it's about time.
I'm surprised.
I just wish he
Right.
would take all the rest of his criminal friends with him.
Right. I'm surprised he lasted that long, Jordan. I mean, 101 years old. It's incredible. I mean, you have a guy here, the Rockefeller family, that basically funded Mengele. People don't know that.
Yeah, he has funded many things, helped fund the Vietnam War, and my God, the Rockefeller family. If you go back far enough, and you're too young, but
Right.
I'm old enough to remember that Rockefeller family, David himself, and David and Nelson and his brothers, they all helped finance Adolf Hitler to not only kill Americans and Europeans and the Jews, and God knows all the rest of the people Hitler was murdering and killing and destroying Europe, but that was the Rockefeller money behind Adolf Hitler. And people need to remember that. It was also the Rockefeller money behind the communist revolution in the Soviet Union. The Rockefeller family put up hundreds of millions and provided raw materials and got their friends and their treasonous friends in America and Europe to finance the Soviet Union, to send the Soviet communist government food, oil, gas, and all of the industry that the Communist Party needed in the Soviet Union in order to murder and kill its people and to set up a world fascist, totalitarian Soviet communist operation. It was the Rockefellers who helped guide all the big money in the world to the Soviet Union, to Trotsky, to Lenin, to what was his name, the real murderer's one. Anyway, I'll think of his name in a minute.
There's so many.
But no, who was the one that just killed millions and millions of people?
Stalin. Stalin.
Stalin. That's it.
That's right.
So, if the world loved what Stalin did to the Russian people and the multiple millions of people that he murdered, personally gave orders to put to death millions of people, and Adolf Hitler personally directing the major war in Europe. So if the people love that kind of thing, then you will really miss the Rockefellers and David Rockefeller, because he was one of the main people who was funneling money, materials, which is high crimes and treason during wartime. I mean, according to the law, if you when we are at war with another country, if you are sending money, materials, guns, food, in any way helping our enemy at the time of a war, that is called treason. And in this country, as in all countries, treason is punishable by death.
Oh, they used to hang them.
And that was what, that's what you get for treason. So it's not like an unjust decision.
No, by those standards, then Obama and Hillary would be put to the same
high crimes and treason.
Standards.
There's nothing but treason and criminality going on today. I've read some of the top people in America today behind the scenes, some of their personal communications, in which it struck me, especially this one journalist who was very famous. But in one of his letters, he said that there is virtually not one aspect of the United States government today that is not totally corrupt, beyond all consideration, beyond all possible consideration. It is totally, absolutely corrupt all the way through and through. And so I'm thinking if Trump is going to clean up America, that's like asking God to clean up the world, because the most powerful government in the world today is the United States Federal Corporation. And if it is, as so many people at the top are saying, totally, 100% completely out of control and totally corrupt, with not even one spot in the federal government that's clean and decent, not one. And so if the situation is that critical and that bad, that the entire governmental system in the United States is without a doubt totally corrupt and beyond all hope, can you imagine what President Trump has to deal with? I mean, how would you
incredible.
like to move into Chicago in 1933, 34, and 35 and become the new mayor of Chicago?
Oh, I've had Al Capone up my ass.
Yeah, because at that time, Al Capone and the mafia and all the syndicates, it was a center for organized crime, period, in America.
I wouldn't want to move into Chicago. I wouldn't want to move into Chicago today, Jordan.
Everybody knew Chicago was a center for organized crime in America, period. And so if you, being a good guy, wanted to become mayor of Chicago, you would have to, first of all, understand that you're going to face your whole federal, state, county, city, all government over Illinois is totally corrupt. And you're going to go in and try and clean up that act? I don't think so.
Highly unlikely.
So that's why when I look at what President Trump is doing, and I'm not political. I mean, anybody who's followed my career for any number of years knows I very seldom ever talk about politics.
You study religions.
Yeah, I'm not interested in politics, but I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
And I know that anyone in this country who is going to stand up for the Constitution and for this republic and for the people of America, anyone who wishes to do that is going to have to, by necessity, play the part of Almighty God, and to be able to do what only the Almighty God could do, and which basically boils down to this. If you think you're going to clean up the United States of America and make it great again, you got another thing coming. This country is totally, completely, 100% through and through corrupt beyond all imagination.
Well, it's like Rodin wrote. He wrote The Gates of Hell. I mean, we are literally at the gates of hell.
We are actually past the gates of hell, and it's been closed behind us. And
Okay.
we are in
It's worse.
The bottom line of hell right now.
Wow, that's incredible, Jordan. Now, I wanted to ask you, I think I know how David Rockefeller got to live to 101. They have these blood drinking rituals. You believe that? Have you heard about these blood drinking rituals, these Illuminati blood rituals?
Yeah, I know. All of those stories. On the one hand, I've heard all the stories about all the rituals and blood rituals and sex rituals and all of the horrible demonic depravity that the human mind is capable of. But I wasn't there.
Yeah, right.
So I can't say for sure that any of that happened. However, having said that, just looking at the normal everyday in your morning paper every day, you see incredible atrocities committed by our fellow citizens, murdering babies, killing people, raping and destroying. So when I hear about these other elites drinking human blood and killing children and raping and plundering, and that goes all the way up to the White House and to right up to the president and the vice president and all the top cabinet members involved in all kinds of blood rituals and murder and violence and raping. It doesn't sound too outlandish to me. I've been in Hollywood for the past 56 years, and I know what goes on in Hollywood. I've been here, and I know about the child sacrifices and blood drinking and all the darkest stuff going on. You hear that stuff in Hollywood all the time, every time. And so happily and delightfully, I'm able to say I've never been a part of any of it.
Thank God.
I haven't seen it myself, but I've seen the results of it.
Well, it's like Dracula said, the Vlad the Impaler said the blood is the life. So going back to these, the blood actually carries the soul.
Yeah,
so,
well, probably so, because
right.
we know scientifically, if you have a blood transfusion, this is something that's not being told in the public, I'll tell it.
Right.
If you have a blood transfusion from another person, if you get enough of that blood from someone else, it's known, scientifically understood, that your personality will change and you will become like that person. You will have the same disposition, the same viewpoints, the same kind of mentality that the blood came from someone else. You will begin to be like that person. And there have been too many reports where people have had massive transfusions, and then they find out that the people, when they got better and back out on the street, they are totally different people. Their family doesn't recognize them. Their closest friends don't recognize them. And they have a totally different disposition and outlook on life than what they did before they took the blood. So what you need to understand, blood is not just a liquid that helps keep the body flowing, but the heart itself. Somehow, scientifically, I've heard doctors and people talking about it who understand it. I don't. But the very heart of a human itself has the ability to think for itself.